Hello everyone, my name is Elmango, and in today's video I'll show you the fastest way in Minecraft 1.10 to make a perimeter. So as you saw, I'm using the TNT duping glitch that is currently in the game in Minecraft 1.9 and 1.10, and this movable duper array that is based on Pi's design. I want to make a full step-by-step tutorial and also cover what is a perimeter and what it is good for. And to understand the need for a perimeter, you also have to understand how the mob spawning and despawning works. And that's why I prepared some spheres here. So if you stand on this block, for example, you would have a blue sphere, that's where no mobs can spawn. Then you have the area between the blue and the red sphere, so mobs can spawn there, but they don't despawn. And outside of the red sphere, but inside the green sphere, that's the area where mobs spawn and can despawn. So the blue sphere has a radius of 24, the red one of 32, and the green one of 128. And those lapis blocks indicate the area where mobs can spawn. So that's 17 by 17 chunks. If a mob would spawn outside of the green sphere, it would despawn instantly, I think in the next game tick. So if you want to make a perimeter, for example for a mob farm, then it's enough if you would remove all spawnable spaces outside of your farm in the green sphere. So to answer the first question, what is a perimeter? A perimeter is an area where every spawnable block outside of your farm is removed. There are different strategies to achieve that, lighting blocks up, putting slabs on spawnable blocks, and removing all of the blocks. Of course, the methods have advantages and disadvantages. So for example, if you try to light up all the caves, you might miss one. And also wouldn't deal with slimes. So in the slime chunks, mobs can spawn regardless of the light level. And you would need to place down water there, or slabbing it. So you need to find those slime chunks first. And you also might miss a cave if you don't use X-ray tools or something like that. So to be 100% sure that you removed every spawnable block, basically need to remove it. And with the TNT duping, it's no longer that much of an issue. In 1.8 and older, you would have to dig it all, but with TNT duping, you could remove an area, a 17 by 17 chunk area. Depends how quick you are, of course, in about 30 to, let's say, 60 hours. Depends how fast you are. And with digging, it would have taken 200 to 400 hours, depending how fast you can get new tools and so on. So it's much faster now, and I would say it even becomes a viable option even for single player now. And also want to quickly talk about why it's so important to remove all spawnable spaces outside of a farm. And that's why I prepared a single cell, for example, of a mob farm. So as soon as mob spawn, it gets pushed off and then hits the ground. So average he would live 2 seconds. If you forget to remove a spawnable space, the mobs there exist for 57 seconds on average. So that's 30 times longer than in your farm. And if you would have 30 of those cells, then you would have as much mobs on a single block as in the small farm. So I prepared 30 cells now, and on average in the farm as many mobs would exist than in the single spawning space. So your rates of the farm would be cut in half by a single spawning space. And of course, if you scale it up, the same happens. So it's really important for fast mob farms to get rid of the spawning spaces outside of it. For example, if you have a slime farm where the slimes randomly ran off the platforms and maybe takes them 20 to 25 seconds on average, it's not so important to remove all spawnable spaces outside of it. So the faster you farm, the higher the need for a perimeter. Okay, let's look at some situations where it does make sense to make a full perimeter. So with that I mean removing, for example, 17% in chunks completely down to bedrock, and where it's not that useful. For example, if you plan to build a witch hut farm with a single witch hut, then it makes the most sense to move the AFK spot above the farm and also reserve about 34 blocks below the farm, so the mobs can fall down and you can kill them easily with fall damage. So yeah, AFK spot would be somewhere in the sky, and in order to achieve the maximum rates you need to remove everything inside the sphere, which isn't that much. The situation is different if you have multiple witch huts. For example, in a quad witch hut seed, then your AFK spot has to be a lot lower so reach all the farms, and then you would also have to make sure that no mobs can spawn in a bigger area. So if you don't want to remove every spawnable block or light everything up properly, then in some situations might be better to use a single witch hut and have your AFK spot high in the sky than to use a quad witch hut seed if you don't want to do the work of preparing the area around your farms. Okay, let's take a look at normal overworld mob farms, to get string, gunpowder, bones and so on. In my opinion, it makes the most sense to not remove any blocks, so have your AFK spot somewhere in the sky, so you only have air blocks around you, and build the actual mob farm still as low as possible. So the frequency of mob spawning is dependent on the highest opaque block. So you get better rates per spawning block if you build it lower in general. So yeah, it makes the most sense to have your AFK spot high in the sky, and the mob farm as low as possible. And yeah, this this indicates spawning spaces and also leave some space for the mobs to fall down and be killed by fall damage, for example. On the other hand, if you want to build the fastest possible mob farm, for example, like we do on the Cycraft server, it makes sense to build the farm as low as possible to get better rates per spawning spot, and in this case you need to make a full perimeter. But as long as there's TT duping in the game, it's not even that much effort. It also makes sense to remove all blocks down to bedrock, for example for passive mob farms or for Guardian XP farms. So by now you should know if you need a perimeter or not for your projects, and now I'll start with the actual tutorial. After you've decided in which area you want to remove blocks, you need to remove all lakes in there. And the reason why you need to remove all fluids is that there is a blast resistance of 500, so it can't be destroyed by TNT, and it would protect all the blocks below it, and it would also flow to the side and more or less cover even a larger area than it covers now. And yeah, do the same if you see any lava lakes. After we've removed all fluids, or visible fluids, we can start building the 2D duping array. So in a normal overworld world you need 2 of those flying machines, because you can't reach down to bedrock with a single one. And you also always need some safety space between the blocks that you remove and the flying machine. It's about 35 to 40 blocks. So I would recommend to build the first flying machine at Y125 and the second one at Y85. And this case, if you have blocks above Y90, I would recommend to remove them. So if you want to remove a extreme hills biome, for example, then I would even recommend to use a third flying machine at Y165. But this is a plains biome, so 2 is enough. And now I'm gonna show you how to build it. So this was shown by Pi, the design is really good, so that's why I more or less copied it directly. So you need those slime blocks here, then build it like this, then remove those two again, put another one here, then you need a rail here, and another rail here, and a minecart here, and then you can put a redstone block on top, and this would also, yeah, this will already stoop TNT. And yeah, to make it yeah, more or less loop, you need this here. So those are two slime block, sticky piston, slime block, redstone block, and a normal piston. And now you can turn it on and off like this. Okay, and to make a full array, you want to space it out 5 blocks, 5 air blocks in between. So the next one is, that's 5, 6. So next one is here, and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then sticky piston. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sticky piston, and so on. I wouldn't recommend to build it too long. So maybe do about 20 to 30 of those duping cells. Okay, maybe I'll show you again how to do it. So 5 slime blocks, TNT block, more slime blocks here, remove those two, set a slime block here, rails, then minecart, then in the back pistons, sticky pistons, redstone block, and the normal block, and this is disabling it. Here you can turn it on. So in the next step, we want to connect all the cells, and we do it like this. Just have those 3 slime blocks above and the redstone block, and let's do it for all of those 5. Of course, you would make it longer, because you want a big pyramid, of course. And redstone blocks. Then you need a normal piston here, and stick piston here. Then connect those like this, and you do it like this. And so on. So now let's add the disabling mechanism for all the TNT tubers, because you want to turn your machine off from now and then. For example, if you unveil a underground lake, for example, then you want to stop your whole machine, remove the water or lava, and resume later. And that's how you do it. Add 3 slime blocks here, then a redstone block on top. Then go down here. 1, 2, 3, and another redstone block here, and there's a redstone block, a sticky piston, then 1, 2, 3, then go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another redstone block, here's a redstone block, sticky piston, and so on. This repeats for all of them. So if you add a sticky piston here, you can turn the dupers on and off by powering and depowering it. So there you go. And let's disable it again. And as you can see, making quite a hole already. Okay, then let's add the engine. So we need another redstone block here. Here we need a normal piston, then we need a block between, can use a slime block, then add sticky slime block here and a redstone block on top. And I would recommend to put an obsidian block in between in case you do something wrong, so it doesn't break. And then another piston and a piston here. And you want to travel with the whole machine, and that's why building a small box where it would sit in. We need a normal piston here, and a slime block, and a redstone block here. Then make this cross here, add some slabs around it, and add a minecart so you can safely sit in here and control the machine. Okay, and to control the duper from the minecart, let's just add some slime blocks and another sticky piston right here, and then also add some slime blocks here so the machine travels with the rest. Then expand this like this and add a normal piston here and there. So now if I sit in a minecart, I can turn it on and off by placing a redstone block. Okay, then we also need to add more of those normal pistons to transport the on and off switch. So they are placed here. It's one offset to those redstone blocks because they get retracted, and then and that's the last one. And now we need a flint and steel. Now we can sit in the minecart and move the whole machine forwards. Like this. You can only move the machine forwards while the TNT tubers are running. So this is how we disabled it again. And yeah, don't move the machine now, because this will break it. So there's one more note. If you're building this thing in a cold biome where it could snow, this TNT block is powered at the moment, but it doesn't realize it, so if you give a block update to it, it would fall down. So TNT blocks have a solid top, so a snow layer could generate on it, and then it would fall down. So you could make a cover, just simply add some slime blocks like this, and then no snow layer could generate on it, if you're building this in a cold biome. Another note, if it's dark, mobs could spawn on the TNT or on the slime blocks and move the minecart. That's an issue, so you should try to avoid it and sleep when it's dark, so the minecart doesn't get moved. And also, at this stage, I would recommend to have the machine running for about 5 seconds before you move one over. And then always wait 5 seconds and do it once more. Of course, you could also build a slow engine. Just add some delay, attach it to the rest of the machine, and then you don't have to do it on your own, but I would recommend to check down below every 20 blocks anyway. So every now and then you have underground water sewers, or even a lake, or a lava sewers, and yeah, this doesn't work with the TNT, so you always need to remove those. So you have to stop your machine, remove the lava, water, and get back up there. To get back up there, I would recommend to use your elytra and an ender pearl elevator, which is somewhere on the side, for example. Okay, it's also a nice two-man job, by the way. So one would be always in the machine, the other one checks for water. If you have, if you're playing on a server, for example. So I've moved the first TNT duper forwards. By the way, I added a slow engine here. So if you're interested in that, you can check the world download to turn it on and off. You need to either remove that redstone block and turn it back on again, add it again, and give an update to this piston, and then have a slow engine. And to stop it, remove it, this redstone block again. And here's already the second one. So it's 40 blocks slower. It's about what's the Y value of the TNT? It's at 83. So this would reach down to bedrock. And I made a mistake, I forgot something, so my machine blew up. You need to activate those cells individually. So remove the redstone block, let them destroy the area around below it, then do it for the next one, have it running for 5 to 10 seconds, and so on, because otherwise, if too many of those TNT entities land at the same time on the blocks below, there's a chance that it would get propelled up, which you can see here. So I've luckily made a backup of MC edit, so I add that again. Okay, I've added the second machine, and here you can see what happens if you don't remove the water. So the other blocks below are protected. And of course there could be a cave in there, so if you really want to remove that. And yeah, this is the second biggest, maybe it's even the biggest issue of or the most effort you have, despite removing all the blocks, are the lava lakes. It's not totally necessary to remove them, but there's a chance that there could be a cave below occasionally, and it just looks better if you remove the lava. So I use just a lot of buckets, so you definitely need an iron farm if you do a method like this. And I even made a fast clicker with auto hotkey just to make it faster. I can show you how that would affect it. And this is how lava removal looks like with a fast clicker. So as you can see, it's a lot faster. This would also work in survival, of course. And I even made a little script with auto hotkey that detects if my buckets, my stack of buckets is used up, switches to the inventory and give me new buckets. So you can make it a lot more efficient if you want to use some scripts. Maybe I can even link it in the video description if you're interested in that, but you might need to change it a little bit because it's made for my system. So as you can see, the second flying machine at Y83 reaches down to bedrock level. And you need to have a delay of about 15 seconds in between moving further by one block. And yeah, this way you can remove all blocks down to bedrock. Significantly the fastest way in Minecraft 1.10. Of course, TNT duping is definitely not an intended feature, and I'm quite sure it might get removed at some point, so use it while you can. And if you would ever add the option to move tile entities like there's in the Pocket Edition, then you could move dispensers with TNT, and I'm quite sure if that gets added, digging a perimeter is a thing of the past, because even with the dispensers, this is probably more efficient as long as you have a creeper farm and a sand farm. But yeah, there's sand duping in the game, and I also showed how to make a fast creeper farm on my channel. Okay, so yeah, that's all I want to show you today. Hope this is helpful for you. We used it on a server already. We made a huge perimeter on a Cycraft server and worked flawlessly. It took us under 100 hours, which would have took about 1000 hours with normal digging. So have a good day and goodbye.